Have you ever found yourself alone, staring into the dark, praying, pleading, begging for some answer from above, but receiving only silence? Not just quiet, but a profound emptiness, a silence that seems to erase meaning itself? This is what we call the silence of God. It's the feeling of divine abandonment, the haunting realization that sometimes, when we need meaning most, the universe refuses to speak. Today, we'll enter the lives of unforgettable characters who confront this devastating silence directly. Characters who find themselves beneath an indifferent sky, abandoned by the divine. Imagine Hector, Troy's greatest hero, standing alone outside the city gates. The entire war has led to this moment, a final showdown with Achilles. Hector knows exactly what's coming. He will die here, at Achilles' hands. And his beloved city, Troy, will soon be destroyed.
Let it burn! Let Troy burn! Burn it! Up and around! Burn it! Burn!
But what's worse is that the gods have abandoned him. Zeus, guardian of sacred hospitality, has turned against Troy because Trojans broke that sacred rule. Now the god who once upheld justice stands silent.
I've always honored the gods, Father, you know that. But today I fought a Greek who desecrated the statue of Apollo. Apollo didn't strike the man down. The gods won't fight this war for us.
Hector faces the battlefield beneath a silent sky, fully aware that no help or hope will come from above. The gods watch without a word, indifferent and unmoved, leaving Hector to bravely face a fate already sealed. Now imagine Antonius Block, a knight returning home from a brutal crusade. He hoped to find peace, to discover meaning after years of violence, but instead finds a land consumed by plague and death. Bodies piled, villages empty, faces hollow with despair. And so Block, tormented and confused, turns toward God, begging, pleading for understanding. Why? Why such suffering? Why this cruelty? Yet no reply comes. Only silence.
Jag vill ha vetskap. Inte tro, inte antaganden, utan vetskap. Jag vill att Gud räcker mig sin hand, avtäcker sitt ansikte och talar till mig.
Men han tiger.
Jag ropar till honom i mörkret. Men ibland är det som det inte fanns någon där.
Det kanske inte finns någon där.
Men då är levandet en orimlig fasa. Ingen människa kan leva med döden för ögonen och vetskapen om alltings intighet.
Block encounters death himself, and even then his desperate questions find no answers. Death stands silent, offering no reassurance.
Och du uppenbarar dina hemligheter.
Jag bär inte på några hemligheter.
Så du vet ingenting.
Jag är ovetande.
Block gazes upward one last time, pleading for some divine whisper, but there is only the vast, indifferent silence of God. This is where Bergman's critique becomes clear. In one unsettling scene, a priest and his followers enter a village, dragging with them a grim procession. They shout about the second coming, divine punishment, and the wrath of God, terrifying the townspeople with threats of death and eternal judgment. The silence of God isn't filled with reflection. It's filled with fear. The church steps into that silence, not to console, but to control. In place of answers, it offers threats. Instead of acknowledging uncertainty, it declares punishment. What should be a search for meaning becomes a performance of terror, proving how quickly divine silence can be hijacked by human authority.
Du kvinna, som blomstrar av livets lust och välbehag. Ska du blekna och slockna innan morgonen gryr?
In his final moments, Antonius Block sees a harsh truth unveiled. Life, stripped of divine answers, is nothing more than a dance with death. Humanity, left without divine intervention, simply moves inevitably toward the same cold end.
Och så ska de tråda dansen i en långa rad. Och först går den stränga herren med lie och timglas. Men Skat, han slinker på sladden med sitt stränga spel. De träder bortåt. Bort från gryningen i en högtidlig dans.
Let's step now into the modern world. Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, an aging lawman, faces crimes he cannot fathom, evil he cannot understand. He remembers simpler times, days when justice seemed assured. Now, however, he stands bewildered by senseless violence, cruelty without reason.
There's this boy I sent to the electric chair at Huntsville here a while back. My arrest and my testimony. He killed a 14-year-old girl. Papers said it was a crime of passion, but he told me there wasn't any passion to it. Told me that he'd been planning to kill somebody for about as long as he could remember. Said if they turned him out, he'd do it again.
Bell longs for God to step into his life, to explain the chaos, to offer reassurance. But nothing comes. He dreams of his father riding ahead into the darkness, preparing a fire to guide him. But when Bell wakes, there is no fire, only silence. No sign, no protection, no light in the void.
And I was a horseback, going through the mountains of a night, going through this pass in the mountains. It was cold, and there was snow on the ground. He rode past me and kept on going, never said nothing going by, just rode on past. He had his blanket wrapped around him and his head down. When he rode past, I seen he was carrying fire in a horn, the way people used to do, and I could see the horn from the light inside of it, about the color of the moon. And in the dream, I knew that he was going on ahead. And he's fixing to make a fire somewhere out there in all that dark and all that cold. And I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there. And then I woke up.
And that's when it becomes clear. The evil he's facing isn't just crime. It's something elemental, something eternal. Anton Chigurh, the quiet killer haunting this film, is not just a man. He's a force, a portrait of the world's violence, cold, senseless, and immune to justice. He doesn't die. He doesn't change. He walks through the story like death itself, undeniable, unstoppable, untouched by reason or mercy. No miracle confronts him. No divine force rises to stop him. Sheriff Bell sees this clearly. The world has shifted. The old codes, the belief in a moral order, are gone. What remains is a silence that allows evil not only to exist, but to win. The silence of God isn't just absence. It's the space where this unstoppable violence is free to move. And Bell, standing in that silence, realizes he is completely, terrifyingly alone. Yet even without divine comfort, Antonius Block discovers meaning precisely because he confronts death without hope of rescue. He chooses to protect a family from death, giving them a chance to survive and carry life forward. In that act, he sees clearly what truly matters.
Du är matt. I nästa drag.
Det är sant.
Hade du glädje av ditt uppskov?
Ja, det hade jag.
Life's meaning is not found in divine assurance, but in giving life itself meaning through action, sacrifice, and compassion. For Hector, meaning emerges from courage itself. He faces Achilles knowing perfectly well that he's doomed, that his battle is lost from the very start. Yet Hector steps forward anyway, not because victory awaits, but because fighting is his human duty. And perhaps this is exactly what these stories teach us. Life's true meaning isn't handed down from above, nor promised by miracles or divine voices. It is found in doing what we must. Even amid confusion, uncertainty, and the painful feeling of being abandoned, we can choose to hold on to faith, to trust in Christ's message, that even when silence fills the heavens, our beliefs, actions, and courage can still give purpose to our lives. We may not understand why the silence persists, why violence endures, but our faith and humanity allow us to stand bravely within it, never surrendering to despair.
Du ser det. Gud, du ser det. Det oskyldiga barnets död och min hämnd. Du tillät det. Jag förstår dig inte. Jag förstår dig inte. Ändå ber jag dig nu om förlåtelse. Jag vet inget annat sätt att försona mig. Jag vet inget annat sätt att leva.